From beautiful downtown Millheim, in the smack-dab center of the Keystone State, this is Lou Bryson with Seen Through a Glass, the podcast that's mostly about food and drink in central Pennsylvania. Hello, bud. Welcome to episode 73, Shamokin, a coal town. I think I've mentioned Pennsylvania's coal region before, where the world's largest anthracite coal deposit has been mined since 1775. It covers 6 counties: Carbon, of course, Columbia, Lackawanna, Luzerne, Schuylkill, and Northumberland, where Shamokin lies. When I was planning the podcast, I didn't think I was going to be covering anything in the coal region, because I always thought of it as, well, over there. But I visited Sunbury early on, pretty damned early in episode 1, and Sunbury is the county seat of Northumberland County. I set a lot of store in county seats. My dad had memorized all the counties and county seats in Pennsylvania, and New York, and Maryland, and Virginia. He claimed it kept his mind supple, and he did die fully lucid, so maybe there's something to it. Anyway, Sunbury's more a river town than a coal town, and I thought that would be as far as I went. Then a listener who I've met and been talking to, Jay Zalewski, started talking up Shamokin, and the Pierogis, and Covered Bridge Brewpub. And then our old friend Dirt Road Dave Dries had a great time at Oliver's Cigars and Spirits in town. I was intrigued. I took a look at the map, and Shamokin is a hell of a lot closer to me than Gettysburg, or Mansfield, or Clarion. So why not? Because it's on the far side of the Susquehanna? As Lewis Carroll put it in The Hunting of the Snark, what's the good of Mercator's North Poles and Equators, tropics, zones, and meridian lines? So the bellman would cry, and the crew would reply, they are merely conventional signs. I really like The Hunting of the Snark. Give it a read. Anyway, to put it more conventionally, I suppose I made the rules about the podcast covering towns and places west of the Susquehanna, and I reckon I can break that rule if I want to. I've also been seriously thinking about a lower Wyoming Valley episode, and maybe a way out of my lane Northeast PA pizza episode. So I went ahead and visited Shamokin. With a lot of advice from my local guide, Jay, I made 5 food stops, 2 bar visits, a brewery visit, and a brewery interview. Pretty much par for the course, really. I met some locals, had some good chats, and generally had a good time. I mean, I usually do, but this was different. I don't want to get out of line here, but this was the first time I've really sat down and talked to people in coal country, other than some visits to Jim Thorpe, which is a different situation, and some youthful bar hopping years ago. I don't want to be disrespectful, and I don't want to present myself as any kind of expert. I found a town full of really nice, really friendly people. I've walked into rural bars before and had the place go quiet as everyone turns to stare at you. I've stopped at small-town restaurants where the service is reluctant, almost, why do you come here? This was not like that. Everyone had something to say. No question was a dumb one, and it was a quick, warm welcome. I don't know if that's a Shamokin thing or a coal country thing, but look here, this place may be down on its luck, but they're upbeat, and everyone's looking for a way to turn it around. Everyone I talked to was cheerful and seemed confident things would work out. If that's how coal country is, I think I'll be going back. Jay's pretty much got me talked into an episode on soupies. If you don't know what they are, you'll find out. Have patience. And I may have to do a Knoebels episode, the wonderful amusement park tucked away in the hills up here that boasts one of the top-rated wooden roller coasters in the world. And yes, I've ridden it. Twice. What else? Not a lot, to be honest, because there's a lot of Shamokin to get through. And I've got the interview with Eric Kuijpers of Covered Bridge Brewhaus there in Shamokin, which is where you'll find out why I greeted you with, "Ho, butt," at the beginning. I'll tell you about the pierogi I got at Fisher's Boston Pierogi and what makes the Boston pierogi. We'll have some hot dogs, hit a couple butcher shops, have a whiskey, and see the sights. And of course, we're going to start with what I'm drinking today. What I'm drinking today is, well, it's another Trogs beer, the new dark lager. I know, I just did Nugget Nectar last episode, but I picked up the dark lager on that same trip to the brewery, and that's why I'm drinking it now, to put a little pressure on the brewery to get this out into the wider world. Because dark lager is only available at the brewery. You can get it on draft there, or you can buy it in these beautifully intense red 16-ounce cans there, and that's all. Well, I'd be okay with that if the brewery was closer, but that's a long haul for a case of beer. They don't even sell kegs of it, so I can have it here at home. So I'm going to tell you how good this is, and then you're going to want some of your own, And you're going to start bugging your local bar, your local beer distributor for some of that Trogs Dark Lager in the red cans. And maybe we can get it out there because nobody puts baby in a corner. Let's have a taste. The beer is dark, but not black. It's more a reddish brown, and it is a dark lager. It has a nice light brown head, a tan head. Foam is lasting. Of course, I've got a clean glass, and it's a Trogs beer, so the foam is lasting nicely. What's it smell of? Malt and roasted malt. It's got that kind of coffee hull aroma of roast malt. But there's something more to it. It's like dark chocolate, but like 80 or 90% dark chocolate. It's not sweet. It's tiny amount of burnt toast, and just some toast. Gotta have some of this. Oh, Trogs, so saying clean as a whistle is probably redundant, but malt and that roasted malt comes through, but not in the way that like a stout or a porter does. Wow, is this a lager porter? Is this a porter lager? Is this okay. Nice roasted malt, nice, very faintly chocolatey notes, very faintly coffee notes, but really the whole thing comes together almost like a baked good. Again, without the sweetness. There's just a bit of malt sweetness there, but oh boy. I'll tell you what, for a beer that is, I'm going to say it's deceptively easy to drink because examination rewards you. There is more here. This is one of those beers you can just drink or you can really take apart and savor. And I love those. I value beers like that. So I'm going to ask you, please ask for this beer. Find it, taste it, and then let's work on getting more of it together for both of us. For all of us. Wow. That's pretty good. All right. You know what to do. Get at it. Meanwhile, here's your smack dab in the center, sponsored by the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau. As I'm writing this episode, we've got the first significant snow in the Center County forecast in quite a while. Might be a little late for a white Christmas, but I'm dreaming of a white weekend. And that means exploring one of our greatest state parks, Black Moshannon, up by Phillipsburg, is the place to go for a wide range of winter fun. You'll find 30 kilometers of trails for cross-country skiing, and you can borrow skis at the park office. Or you can snowshoe, tramping over the trails. Again, there are snowshoes at the park office, or bring your own. Do you want to go faster? There are snowmobile trails in the park, and more in the Moshannon State Forest. Or go ice boating on Black Moshannon Lake, where you can literally go as fast as the wind. Maybe you want to go fancier. Ice skating on the lake is open in specified areas, and skates are available at the park office too. And if you really don't want to move much at all, everywhere on the lake, except for that skating area, is open for ice fishing. And you can try your luck with the bluegills, largemouth bass, yellow perch, even pike. All activities are at your own risk, and the park urges you to check the ice depth on the lake before venturing out. Gotta say, though, with the temperatures we've had lately, now's probably the time to go. Black Moshannon is calling. Get more information at the happyvalley.com website. Click on the State and Local Parks button, and then click through to Black Moshannon, Center County's Northern Kingdom. On to Shamokin. The town was founded in 1835 by coal speculators, though it wouldn't officially incorporate until 1864. After flirting with naming the place Boydtown for one of the speculators, the name Shamokin was chosen from the Lenape Indian words Shamokin, a place of eels. There may have been a Shawnee settlement there by that name, but that's unsure. Better than boring old Boydtown, that's for sure. And don't confuse Shamokin with Shamokin Dam, which is a little town on the Susquehanna across from Sunbury at the west end of the J Street Bridge, a full 14 miles west of Shamokin. It's confusing to a non-local, like me. Meanwhile, back in Shamokin proper, the first coal mine opened in 1836, right about where Fisher's Boston Pierogies is, one of the places we'll be visiting. The first strike by miners in Shamokin was only 6 years later, in 1842, and the miners would be harassed and oppressed by the mine owners from then on, sometimes with the heavy-handed assistance of state militia units. The struggles would come to a head in 1877 during the Great Railroad Strike. Out-of-work miners, their families verging on starvation, demanded work. The mines had none to offer, with the railroads using less coal because of the strike. The town offered work, but the workers rejected the low wages as too little to live on. Their anger turned to riot, and the starving crowd smashed the windows of the Reading Railroad station, looted the station, broke open freight cars, and looted the goods. The mayor, the Burgess, as the office was known then, was Richard Doughty, who was also a mine owner. Doughty had organized a town militia, or maybe he armed a group of vigilantes, depending on your perspective, and he signaled them to assemble. The armed mob met the strike mob, and when the strikers and their families failed to disperse at Doughty's demand, he told the militia to open fire. 2 people died, neither of them miners, and 12 were wounded. The strikers fled, and the vigilantes, the bosses, controlled the town. It was an end to the violence, and 5 miners were arrested and jailed. None of the vigilantes were arrested. Shamokin is generally known for 2 other things. One of them is Stanley Kovaleski, a native son who's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Kovaleski played for 16 seasons, mostly with the Cleveland Indians, and he pitched 3 complete winning games for them in the 1920 World Series, including the series-winning 7th game, a shutout, with an ERA for the series of 0.67, a World Series record that still stands. Stanley was a spitballer, and it was said that he could make the baseball do anything he wanted. The other thing the town is noted for is truly hard to miss. It's the big black hill north of town along Route 61. That's the Culm Bank, culm meaning coal mine waste. There was so much of it that the pile is higher than the natural hills around it. At one time, it was considered the world's largest man-made mountain. The waste is slowly being used for fuel, thanks to new technology, but the environmental issues of drainage and slumping remain. Shamokin does have some lingering issues from coal mining. The town's economy took a huge hit when the Glenburn Colliery shut down in 1970, and it's never fully recovered. The population is about half what it was in 1970, down to a little under 7,000. The environmental issues are plain to see in the 2 creeks in town, Carbon Run and the larger Shamokin Creek. Both are orange in color due to acid mine damage, runoff of acids and metals from the coal mines. Locals commonly refer to Shamokin Creek as Shit Creek. But the folks here are making the best of it, and some of that's pretty darn good. Let's start with the 2 butcher shops and Coney Island Lunch, and then we'll have a drink. I came into town on Route 61, which brought me through Paxinas to Masser's Farm Market and Butcher Shop. Jay had recommended a stop there, and it was only the first time that Jay was right on the money. Masser's had that delicious smoked meat smell as soon as I walked in the door. There was a cooler with about a dozen big home-smoked hams, plenty of fresh and smoked sausage, all kinds of beef cuts. They had a lot of prepared foods, too, soups, potato and pasta salads, meatballs. I got some sugar cookies and hot kielbasa sticks. I'm eating one now, and they are hot, baby. I also made a note to strongly consider getting one of those hams for next year's Christmas party. I left and drove past the Culm Bank into Cole Township and then Shamokin, then turned west into the Edgewood section of town. I turned into the parking lot for Irish Isle Provisions, and I saw a beautiful mural along the wall. This 42-foot-long mural captures life in Shamokin in 1957 and was painted by Sean and Nita McGugan. I took some pictures. Irish Isle is more like a little market, but it has some interesting stuff. I got some spice blends they make themselves and some tinned fish. I'd have gotten some of the pre-made salads, but my cooler was going to be filled with pierogi soon. I actually headed out of town to the south at this point. I wanted to check out Anthracite Outdoor Adventure Area, an ATV park that sprawls across the hills there. Actually, ATV park severely understates what it is. AOAA has miles and miles, over 100 miles, of trails for dirt bikes, quads, side-by-sides, even full-sized 4x4 vehicles. The parking lot is enormous. There's a campground, and they sell yearly passes as well as one-day passes, with a discount for Northumberland County residents. No booze, drugs, or guns are allowed, and no trail riding without a pass. This place was a much bigger deal than I'd guessed, and if that's your thing, if you don't already know about it, you can find more at aoaatrails.com. I didn't take the Outback out on the trails, though. I headed back into town. I decided to stop at the other brew pub in town, Lost Mind. That's Lost, M-I-N-E-D. It leans heavily into the mine theme, with doorways framed like mine entrances, and add it, if you like crossword puzzles, 4-letter word for mine entrance. I was the only person there at 12:30 on a cold gray Friday, and I was impressed by the number of taps, about 30 of them. They have about 20 of their own beers on, plus standards. I told the bartender that I only had time for one beer, and I'd been drinking craft beer since 1981. What beer, I asked her, would be the best beer to show me what Lost Mind was like? She considered and gave me an answer that brought a smile to my lips, either the brown ale or the ESB. Make it the ESB, I said, because I always like to get the ESB if one is on offer. This was a good one, malty and mellow. She told me about the business. It turned out she was the owner's granddaughter and was running the place on her own that day. They had a full menu, and I wondered to myself if they might not be better off with a more limited menu, at least during the day. The next day, I would see a note on Facebook from the owners that if things didn't pick up, they were going to have to think about selling. There was a swift response from their fans and from other folks in Shamokin, and I suspect they're having a busier week than usual. I certainly hope so, because it was a good beer, and the place is welcoming and comfortable. Drop by and help them out. I decided I'd better put something in my belly with that beer and headed uptown to the famous Coney Island Lunch. The Coney dates from 1918, I was told by my waitress, which puts it right in that sweet spot of great Central PA hot dog joints. I ordered 2 dogs with everything, Coney sauce, minced onion, and mustard. The place looked old, but well cared for, with an enormous Christmas tree still up in the back, sparkling with multicolored lights and glass ornaments. There's plenty of room for it in that high-ceilinged long room. The dogs were delicious. I might have wanted more spice in the meat sauce, but personal tastes are just that. And the dogs themselves, the sausages, were firm and meaty, solid dogs, and tasty. I was satiated and ready for more. I was going to meet Jay at Oliver's, but I decided to squeeze in my visit to Fisher's Boston Pierogies first. I mentioned this stop on Facebook, and a few people asked, what the hell's a Boston pierogi? They're not Boston food. So I asked Jay because, well, he seems to know everyone in town. I actually found the answer on Facebook in a group called Big Mountain, The History of a Coal Patch Town. The place originally opened in 1938 as the Boston Seafood Grill, which makes sense. Around 1958, another person bought it and soon gained a reputation for his pierogies and deviled crabs. Apparently, as he transitioned the business, the Boston part of the name was well known enough that he kept it, and now it's stuck, even though they don't sell any seafood at all anymore. Just pierogi. And do they ever? There were 16 different pierogi on offer when I was there, from the original potato and cheese and sauerkraut and cottage cheese to ones like hot cheese, Mexican party, blueberry, mac and cheese, and buffalo chicken. They're all sold frozen for takeout only. The slogan on the sign outside is, "We pinch our own," and I was told that means that the pierogi are all handmade, and if some of them look a little different, it's because everyone that works in the kitchen pinches them closed in their own particular way. You may be used to the widespread Mrs. T's pierogi in the supermarket, and they're good. But the Fisher's Boston Pierogi is a much, much bigger pierogi. As Kathy said, it's more like a hand pie. I just had a leftover one for lunch, and it's almost a meal on its own. They're already boiled. All you have to do is heat them, maybe brown them in butter. So damn good. I just knew a pierogi from Shamokin was going to be good. Tell you what, I'm going to give you that interview now and get back to the rest of the day afterward. I need a break. Covered Bridge Brewhaus founder Eric Kuijpers is from the Netherlands originally, and many years in the U.S. hasn't affected his accent. But he has picked up the local lingo, which is why his flagship light lager is called Hobut. As the bench says outside the brewery, the only place you can drink Hobut next to the shit creek. Why Hobut? It's the generic Shamokin greeting. Folks call each other Bud, which the local accent shaped Bud. And hello became ho, and at some point, folks were saying, Hobut. Jay tells me that folks from the area, but not from Shamokin, will sometimes refer to Shamokin natives as a bunch of Hobuts. So now you know. The Covered Bridge Brewhaus has 3 rooms. We did the interview in the parlor, which, well, looks like an old Victorian parlor, with velvet hangings and chairs. Even the foosball table is framed in dark wood and covered in heavy glass to keep the ball from flying into someone's beer. The middle room is the bar, a mad profusion of Breweriana and beer stickers, with a small bar and taps ready to fill crowlers to go, and a small amount of tables. The third room, the speakeasy, can be accessed through a small antechamber entered by 2 old refrigerator doors, also covered in beer decals. And I mean covered. I was going to put a podcast sticker up, but I couldn't find an inch of uncovered space. I had one of their coconut porters while I did the interview. It's weird. I'm not nuts about flavored beers, and I don't really like coconut, but I've always liked a coconut porter. Go figure. And this was a good one, a good porter with a subtle but present coconut flavor. After we did the interview, I sampled some more beers, and I'd tell you all about them, but I have to tell you, Eric's barrel-aged sour blew me away. It was honestly one of the best American-made sour beers I've had in quite a while. Reminded me of the stuff from New Belgium, or what Terry Hawbaker was making at Pizza Boy and Bullfrog back in the day. If you like sours, go get some of this while he still has it on. And with that intro, let's do the interview. I'm happy with the audio on this one. There was a food truck right outside the window with a racketing generator going, and I was able to pretty much nullify that. I also had a battery failure during the interview, and I dare you to guess where it happened. I changed batteries, you gotta have spares, and picked up where we left off. Enough bragging on myself. Let's go. Hey, I'm here with Eric Kuijpers. He is the owner of the Covered Bridge Brewhaus and Taproom in Shamokin. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Shamokin.
Thank you. It's been a good day. This is actually, I think, my next to last stop, so I've gotten an education today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Appreciate it. Let's start with a quick resume. I mean, you're obviously not from here. How did you get here?
Well, that's kind of a long story. I tried to make it quick.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually working at the greenhouse. I'm still working at the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my profession is. And about 25 years ago, there wasn't that much variety in the craft brews. So I grew up. I was legal to drink when I got here. So I grew up with beers from Belgium, Germany, Holland. Came here and was
It's not like that.
exposed to the Bud, Miller, Ginny Draft, Michelob Ultra, and so on. But 20 beers, but all the same taste.
Right.
So one night around Christmas, I saw a homebrew store, and I'm like, that makes sense. So kind of one of those hobbies that grabs you and dive into it, and brewed a lot. And then about 10 years ago, I decided, you know what, maybe I should just start a small pub. So we were only going to sell growlers. We were actually one of the first ones that got that kind of license, and then they changed it that if you had 12 seats, that you could sell on premise. So
okay.
That's the room we're sitting next to. That's the middle room. We have 3 rooms here. And we had a walk-in cooler in that room, and we fit 12 seats, and that's how we started.
I have to be honest, I never heard of anybody figuring a business model that was going to be only growlers. I've seen only draft, but wow, okay. When did you open? You said about 12 years ago?
We opened 10 years.
10 years.
10 years ago, yeah. This year will be 11 years ago.
Why Covered Bridge?
Well, that's because we since moved the brewery, but where we first had the brewery, it was in the Katowice area, and they had a Covered Bridge festival. But also to reach to the brewery, you were either had to go through or past the Covered Bridge. So I was looking for a name. I'm like, why not call it Covered Bridge then? Okay,
so
it's kind of.
I'm a big fan of Covered Bridges. I've actually done an episode on Covered Bridges.
Cool.
Yeah. So this was not the original location. When did you?
This is actually the pub. So I started in the garage in Katowice and started brewing there, and then we sold out of the garage and then opened the pub here with 1 room. And then about 5 or 6 years, I'm horrible with years and days, but 5 or 6 years ago, we acquired the building in Shamokin next to the Wendy's, and we moved the brewing operation down there. And we've been brewing there since. And then actually 2 years ago, we started a distillery. Cold Stoker Distillery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. I guess I didn't do my research that well. What was this building originally? Do you know?
This building, this was at once before this. It was like a cookie place, and one place it was a VHS store. One place I think they sold like hats in the early days. So it was kind of like a main shopping street in downtown Shamokin. So it's like an old. You know, when I moved in, everybody said I'm crazy. There was really not was only the hairdresser on the street.
Oh.
But I always had a lot of friends in Shamokin, and not gonna lie, the rent was cheap, and I'm
That's
like,
a plus.
I'll, best thing I ever did.
And you are still at the greenhouse, though.
Yes, I'm still. That's my day job. Yeah.
It's good to have a day job.
I call this my out of control hobby.
I don't have this on. Like I said, I just found out about it. Tell me more about the distillery. What are you making?
Distillery, it's very small. We need it's kind of...
well, the brewery's not very big, right?
The brewery is small too, but the distillery is even capacity-wise smaller. So we make very small, call them micro batches that we sell here. We do gin, we do rum, we do vodka.
Okay.
But like any small business, the time is a limitation on really diving into it and getting, getting more. So I actually wanted to pick your brains about the whiskey. So
happy to do that.
Later.
The funny, it's just I can't help saying it. There was a Kolsch brewery in Cologne, Zunder and Waldfisch.
What?
Same kind of setup, a small brewery tap room. And then they're doing small runs of gin and rum.
Oh,
it's
wow.
just interesting that the same models work.
And where was that at?
It's in Cologne.
Oh, Cologne. All right, I love it. Yeah. The Kolsch. Yeah. It's a cool place.
What do you call this? Is it a brew pub? Is it a tasting room?
So we have 3 rooms. We call it the tap room is the middle, and then we call it the speakeasy, and then we call this the parlor.
Yeah, this is quite a room.
We have each room. My girlfriend Cindy, she's, as I like to say, amazing with decorating. So she has the vision and decorated every room in a different kind of theme. I had a lot of. If you look around, I love to collect beer signs. So we have a lot of old. I like the more like 80s and before, more like 70s and before beer signs and beer memorabilia. So we have, every room is different. The first room has a bunch of trays and coasters, and then there's lights, and then so every room has their own kind of memorabilia in it within the style, so to speak.
That's great. Do you only sell the beer here?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do off premise, but very little. Currently, we have the Wayside is a local.
So just a couple of taps.
At the first we did. I did it, like anybody else. Just I wanted to get my name out and my place out, and I thought what better way than having people taste the beer. So that's kind of that took a backseat. Kind of, I'm not really focused on that. If somebody asks, we do it, but we don't really. We're not set up, and we're not focused on the distributing.
But it was more a marketing thing.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. Jay brought me, I think, like 5 or 6 crowlers of your beer once, and it was quite a variety. What do you make?
We make I like to call it a mixed variety. We're not we always have an IPA on, but we're not like a place where we will find 5-6 IPAs. I like all styles, and I like to make a variety so that no matter what you're looking for, you'll find something.
Okay.
So we'll have a Hobart. It's like basically a lager, a light lager. So it's called the entry beer. It's like the Miller Light drinker likes it, and the person that has a really variety taste, they still like a crisp, clean lager. So it's basically boiled down. We always have the coconut porter on.
That's what I'm drinking now.
We're having now. So that's a staple beer. Then we have a Shit Creek, which is a brown ale, as you can assume, which we're
it's right here.
That's where you probably just passed when you came in.
Yeah,
that's always on. That's popular. Then we have like a kettle sour, like a peach sour.
Okay.
Then we do a triple cherry with Montmorency sour cherries from Michigan. We get them.
Oh, okay.
We do that. That's more seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a Strubot wit. That's seasonal. That's a strawberry with rhubarb. So it's kind of a mix between the sweetness of the strawberry and the tartness of the rhubarb.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a spring beer. We still have it on tap. It's a cookie class. It's like It's the Belgium style ale with speculaas. It's like a cookie spice.
Yeah.
But so it has it's a mix of cinnamon, nutmeg. It's a ginger cookie, but not quite yet. But something like that.
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually makes a butter with those spices in it.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Really nice.
They're, if you know I'm from Holland, so if you know the windmill cookies, they sometimes have them at Aldi's. They're made. Also, they make them in Holland and Germany, but that's the spice it's referring to. So yeah, we always keep 11, 12 beers on tap, different styles, and then based on the season, we rotate the other ones in and out.
Stupid question, but I don't know how else to say it. What's your philosophy on brewing? I guess what I'm asking is, why do you make the beers you do?
Why? At first, another question would be, what's your most favorite beer to brew? People always ask, and I always say the next one.
Yeah.
because it's like, I'm always intrigued by flavor profiles and putting something together and actually finding out how it works. And then once it works, you want to try something else. So I like beer. I like all styles of beer. So I like I love Belgian beer. So I like to play with them, but then I like to put a twist on it, kind of. But not sometimes more is not better in my opinion, like. A double chocolate, peanut butter, ginger spice, cookie, barrel aged ale is not always what I'm after. The more I find out now is that everybody's taste buds change, but I think sometimes you have to, when you put too much in it, you muffle everything and you don't get nothing. So that's my philosophy. So I like to keep my philosophy really is it needs to be a beer. And you need to taste the beer style, and you don't have to, it doesn't have to, I don't care about rules and regulation and purites and all that, the German law, and you can't do this, you can do anything, but when I'm drinking it, I need to know it's a beer and not have to guess, is this a fruit juice, is it a beer, or is it
candy?
My philosophy on beer brewing is you always have to instantly know this is a beer, and then go from there.
I was thinking that as soon as I started drinking this, not overwhelming with the coconut. You almost have to look at it. It's there. The reason it's just there because there's also my other philosophy is using real ingredients. So that has organic coconut that we use in it. Okay.
Now, some of the coconut nut beer that I had commercially, you put your nose in it and it hits you with coconut and you're overwhelmed. Flavor extract. And then when you taste it, I call it the chemical afterburn. Yeah. It has all coconut in the mouth, and then when you swallow it, to me it gives you like a weird, not pleasant aftertaste. So this, yes, it is. It's just a basic stout. So you got the chocolate malts in there, and then the coconut kind of plays with it. And also I found out through brewing with a lot and tasting a lot, your taste buds change from day to day. What did you have to eat? And so sometimes I was worried, like, holy heck, what's wrong with the coconut? I don't taste the coconut. And then I don't panic because maybe your nose is blocked and everything else. And then you taste the same beer 3 days later and you think, what was I thinking? It's totally here. So it's yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. What are your hours? When are you open here?
We're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Thursday we open up at 4 o'clock. Friday we open up at 2 o'clock. And then Saturday we open up at noon. And then we're open till... Official open till 11, but on Saturdays it's 11 or 12, but we're open till 11. That's the official hours.
Okay.
So we want to be closed by 12, and if it's that's why we have it posted 11. So.
And I see you have a food truck out there. You don't have a kitchen, or
we don't have a kitchen, so we do rotating food trucks. Most of them are local. Winter is. It's a little tougher, but we almost always, when we're open every day, we have a food truck here.
Okay. So. And any kind of entertainment?
Yes, we do have entertainment. About every week we have live acoustic music. In the winter we do it inside, and when the good weather is, we do it outside on the sidewalk. And then starting with St. Paddy's Day until October, we do street events once a month that we block the street off, and we have live bands during the day and night, food trucks, local vendors, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a lot of fun. While we're talking about that, who's coming? Who are the people that are coming here?
The people that are coming here, I mean, our core group is probably 30 to, well, actually my biggest satisfaction is around the holidays. We just went over the holidays. Mm-hmm. Family comes in town, and we have the kids with the parents and the grandparents
coming home who had moved away.
Yeah, so they all come. But then what's really for me what's really rewarding is then after that you see each individual group come back on their own. So that tells me that they had a good time.
They liked it, yeah.
Initially, they probably came because they wanted to be with their family and they decided to come. But then one day, each group individually comes back by themselves. That means that they came for their kids, but they now come because they had a good time and they want to come again. So that's
great.
Kind of, yeah.
And do you get people from the regional area? Or is it
mostly
the area
locals? We get I probably say within an hour and a half. I'm surprised sometimes that I don't know. I guess the word gets around and people come, and especially in the weekends. We also have the AOA, so sometimes they're traveling for there. You got Knobles, and then sometimes, actually, most of them are just people that they have the day off and they're looking for something new and they're just checking it out basically.
Okay.
So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think you're talking to people like that now, actually. It's the kind of people that listen to this. Have you seen any changes in what people who come in like to drink from when you open to now?
Yes. In January, especially because it's dry January. And we do have enough of alternative options. So,
yeah, you said you make your own sodas?
Yeah, no, we don't. We don't have. We have Catawissa soda.
Okay.
Soda.
Yeah.
And then we do mocktails. We have non-alcoholic beer. So there's plenty of non-alcoholic options. Mm-hmm. And I don't want people to feel like they just have to.
You have to drink if you're here. Yeah,
it's a gathering place. It's like I'm originally from Europe, so I want you to feel, just at home, just relaxed, have fun, meet people. Most of the time, which is also pretty rewarding, is you don't see too many phones, and that's it's a sign that people are actually amusing themselves without having to pull to their phone, because once you get bored, what's the first thing you do? You grab your phone.
Pull out the phone, right.
So people, you can see, I mean, we got a little football table. We got tons of games. People either just talk or play games or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. And the European model, I would really like to see it happen here more. What do you think the biggest attraction of your place is? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the beer? Is it? Or is it the foosball table?
Yeah. I guess it depends who you ask. No, but I think we also one of the first ones that started. This was before COVID, because I always, when I go out, I always want to find a place to sit outside. And about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you didn't see places outside. Very few where you could sit outside and have a drink. Yeah. So the minute we opened, we asked the town for permission to set up chairs tables outside and be outside. So and they approved that, and I think that's a big draw. People bring their dogs, and so. It's I think the fact that we have 3 different rooms that are totally different, decorated, connected with a refrigerator door, the European vibe. But then the biggest thing is we're in the cold region, so it's it's not aesthetic pretty, but the people here are very genuine, and they make this place because it's you walk in and everybody just feels at home and feels welcome and feels.
Tell me more about that, the whole coal region vibe, because I definitely felt it today.
Yeah, it's just I've been in quite a few places. It's just there's no. People take you for who you are. They don't really care if you're the banker or you're the street sweeper, or people don't really talk about their jobs when they're here. They could care less. But people, are very honest, but they're also very open and easy to connect with. So when you have a pub, that's a huge asset, because people, if you come in here and you by yourself and nobody really acknowledges you or starts talking to you, you have one drink and you either go back on your phone or you go back out and leave. I've seen people that made friends here or that never seen each other or that now are best friends but somebody starts talking to you, there's always, the first thing you have in common is a brewery, so you can start talking about beer. There's always something to talk about, and people have more in common than they think. Once they start talking, it's interesting for the people that see the same people that talk somebody new, and it's interesting for the new person to actually strike up a conversation and meet somebody they otherwise would have never met. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of, I think that's a big plus for, so I invite you to come to Shamokin and visit us, but also visit the other establishments, the restaurants, the bars, the other brew pub. We got 2 cigar shops, so come down and we have another winery. Still people, it's slowly people investing and more business is coming in. So.
And you said about the AOAA,
yes,
anthracite outdoors.
Yeah, it's an outdoor ATV park. That's huge, and a lot of people come there every weekend. So we're looking at, hopefully, eventually there will be some lodging in this town, so that way the people are actually staying in the town, and then it will start benefit all the downtown businesses that the restaurants and the breweries and the wineries and the cigar places. So
at some point that's kind of a leap of faith, I guess, for a business owner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, speaking as a business owner, do you want to grow? Do you want to stay the same? Do you want to? I don't know. What do you have planned for the future? I have to do what I'm doing. Do what we're doing now, and always be looking for something, to add or to make it a more inviting place if we can, or we do trivia now. We're always looking at something to entertain the people or to add to the place. We don't have any interest in growing as far as space wise or volume wise, or just do what we do and do it good. That's I guess. So better rather than bigger. Yeah. Definitely not bigger. I think that's about all I had. We talked about the coal country. We talked about your place here, about why you make the beer you make. Is there anything I missed? Anything you wanted to tell people? Yeah, no, first of all, I want to thank you for coming to Shamokin and putting, hopefully, telling more people about Shamokin and maybe have them, check the area out. And I got to tell you, this is a really gray day. I'm here, it's gray, it's cold. I still had a really good time. Yeah. So no, we appreciate it, and and everybody's welcome. Okay, all right. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Yep. It was good talking to Eric. He's a good guy. We tasted his gin afterwards also, and it's a tasty one with a nice mouthfeel to it. I can recommend a trip to Shamokin based on the Covered Bridge alone, but you should hear about a few other places, like Oliver's Cigars and Spirits. Dave Dries told me about this one, said it was a luxurious spot, and he was right. Oliver's is tucked away just off Independence Street. There's actually a well-maintained set of railroad tracks right in front of the door. It appears to be part of the Shamokin Valley Railroad short line. I'd love to see that come through while I was inside sipping a whiskey. Because that's what Jay and I did. I met Jay Zalewski there and bought him a whiskey. I had a Sagamore Rye. Jay had a Bibb and Tucker. We chatted with the bartender about whiskeys and a fire they'd had pre-pandemic, then went and sipped our spirits by the gas fireplace in 2 big leather armchairs. Like civilized people. Oliver's has a nice selection of whiskeys. Not overly large, but well curated. They have a nice selection of cigars, too, but I didn't indulge with more tasting to do. I'd like to stay longer, but we wanted to get to the Heritage. The Heritage is not far away, and I think it's owned by the same people as Oliver's. It's a much more open plan space, high ceilings, and a nice wraparound bar at one end. We settled in at the bar, and Jay told me that the bar was actually from Schweitzer's Cafe, where he used to go as a kid. Not to drink, but because his great-aunt Clara used to own it. Now that is heritage. I like a town that doesn't throw things away. Anyway, we ordered up a couple beers and munched on some really good duck fat fries while I took a look around. Once again, we were the only ones there. I guess the town doesn't start relaxing until 4 or 5. It's a nice space, kind of an old-time beer hall vibe, but with big glass windows all around. The beer selection was good. I got a new trail, Broken Heels, because they had just run out of my first choice, a well-crafted cream ale, and I have no idea what well-crafted is doing up in the coal patch, but more power to them. One more stop. This was actually after the Covered Bridge interview, so it was maybe 4:45. We went to James's Pizza down past Fisher's Boston, tucked into a residential neighborhood. Florian, Flo, James is the founder's son, and he's been running it for 50 years. He's a pistol, too, divorced after his 4th wife. I had a fun chat with him. James isn't just a pizza place, it's a bar that has a small pizza kitchen in the back. The pizza are roughly shaped rectangles with a sauce that's spicy, not sweet, and yes, the topping is shredded Clearfield American cheese. The other toppings were really good. I had some of Jay's garlic bacon, and yeah, there was definitely garlic on there. The pepperoni pizza I took home to Kathy was not standard pepperoni. I don't think so. It was exceptional. Or maybe I just liked it. But I'll tell you this, Kathy didn't realize the cheese was American. It was just good pizza. And you shouldn't really take it to go like I did. Stay there and eat it, or have a sandwich. Because friends, you will have a good time. By 4:45, 5 o'clock, the bar was crowded. I got a bottle of High Life and talked some smack with the guys at the bar, which started about 10 seconds after we came in. We talked about this and that, and beer and Shamokin, and everything but politics and what we did for a living. Good times. Oh, but I liked visiting Shamokin, and I intend to return because there's more to tell you. Like the places I missed, Coal Region Winery and Culpmont Winery just east of town. Breaker Cigars is right beside Covered Bridge, and they have outdoor seating too, which seems like a great crossover come springtime. And I really wish I could have gotten to one more of Jay's suggestions, the Whatnot Shop Cafe, a coffee shop that looked like a pleasurable cross between Milheim's own Meandering Mallard and 10 West Espresso in Mansfield. We need more places like that. And that's about it. The snow's falling, and the corgis want to go play before Kathy and I head down the hill to Elk Creek for trivia night. Tomorrow I'm going to relax, read some of the books I got last week at Mondragon Books in Lewisburg, and drink more good coffee. I hope your winter's going well. And that's the show. My thanks to Eric Kuijpers for the interview, and a huge thank you to Jay Zalewski for all his help on this episode, and for showing me around his town. And thanks to Flo James, who refused to take my money for the pizza. Welcome to Shamokin. Thanks for stopping by, he said. As always, you can find pictures for this episode on Instagram at Stag Podcast and on Facebook at Seen Through a Glass. If you're listening to the show on the radio at WSOV, there are over 70 more episodes to enjoy at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or any of the major podcast sources. Pennsylvania's anthracite coal, called Black Diamonds, is considered to be the highest quality available anywhere in the world. United States anthracite history began in 1790 in Pottsville. Legend has it that hunter Necco Allen fell asleep at the base of Broad Mountain and woke to the sight of a large fire because his campfire had ignited an outcrop of anthracite coal, foreshadowing of Centralia. There's a huge chunk of anthracite in the town of Jim Thorpe, memorializing the miners who made that town. It weighs about 15,000 pounds, and somewhere I have a picture of our kids perched on top of it. Anthracite contains a high percentage of carbon, usually up to 95%, and very little sulfur or nitrogen. This makes it hard to ignite, which led to it being called stone coal, and of little interest in the early days of the Industrial Revolution. This also makes it the cleanest burning form of coal, once you figure out how to ignite it. In the late 1800s, the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad used only anthracite in its passenger locomotives and dubbed themselves the Road of Anthracite. Their advertisements featured a white-clad woman named Phoebe Snow, and poems containing lines like, "My gown stays white from morn till night upon the road of anthracite." Classic 1800s stuff. Our local hardware store sells anthracite coal in several small sizes for automatic feeder coal furnaces. On a cold day, I can smell the faint but familiar aroma of coal smoke. Next episode? Well, you might get that other distillery I told you about because we're looking really busy with family stuff. There are a couple interview irons in the fire, though. so we'll see what happens. Until then, thanks for listening. This is Lou Bryson on Seen Through a Glass from the smack dab center of the Keystone State.